ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. I am seeing all devotees wearing now shawl and muffler and sweater. Nice to see all devotees. I think winter is coming very nicely. Hare Krishna. So we were discussing about the first two stages of the bhakti, Adau Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha. And we saw how by coming in association of devotees, one's faith is becomes more prominent. Initially the faith was little bit just based on some reading some scriptures, or scriptures are nice, or maybe to improve one's situation through spirituality, whether it is swabhaviki faith or bala utpadaki faith. But then one's faith becomes more and more prominent, one's convictions grows more and more as he starts taking more and more association of devotees or the sadhu sangha. These stages, as explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, these stages, the second stage, the next stage actually enhances the first stage. And the first stage, when it becomes more enhanced, it again enhances the second stage. I would explain again. This is a little bit technical. Like, for example, Sadhu Sangha and Adau Shraddha. Adau Shraddha is the first stage and Sadhu Sangha is the second stage. Adau Shraddha is faith. Sadhu Sangha is association of devotees. So when we associate with devotees, the first stage, that is our faith in devotional service, our faith in spirituality is nourished. It is enhanced. It increases, right? And when our faith is increased, we start associating with devotees in more spiritual ways. Does that make sense for all devotees? Right? Initially, we may associate with devotees. Oh, Prabhuji is so nice. Prabhuji speaks so well. Prabhuji is this. Oh, this and that. Many of the desires of our association may be on a very material level. But as our faith is enhanced on Krishna consciousness, we become, we understand about the regulations of Krishna consciousness, the importance of Krishna consciousness. what we are receiving, the fortune of receiving Krishna consciousness, we take the association more seriously. Now it is not just, oh, I also visit the temple, I must visit the temple. You're understanding? Because now I have got faith that if I have to advance in Krishna consciousness, I have to associate with the devotees. I have to now visit the temple. Is this clear? So these stages are designed in such a way, in a cyclic manner. The first stage, the second stage enhances the first stage, and when the first stage is enhanced, the second stage is also enhanced. It's a cyclic process. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please raise hand, then I'll explain again. I hope. So it's more of a cyclic nature, that these stages are interdependent and interrelated. The first stage, the second stage enhances the first stage, and when the first stage is enhanced, then it also enhances the second stage. So with this little bit of brief introduction about what we covered last class, the third stage, as explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is when a person finally started taking some siksha or something, he started doing bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya. Kriya matlab, it's an activity. Bhajana kriya. Generally, in previous times, when you talk about devotion, people have a notion devotion means just some emotion, some emotional ecstasy, some flowing of emotions. So people have this notion about devotion as some emotional experience. But devotion is not some emotional experience. Devotion is actually about devotional service. It's a kriya, it's an activity. So bhajana is generally talked about how what emotions we have. It's about, oh, how I can cry and what experience I have, but the bhajan, the devotion, is actually an kriya. It's an activity, because it is loving disposition, and love is always an activity. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the third stage is actually bhajana kriya. It's the activity of rendering devotion to Krishna. So as a person takes association of devotees, the association of devotees or the guru teaches him how to render devotional service to Krishna. So the third stage is called the bhajana kriya. And initially, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the stage of bhajana kriya is unsteady. It is called anisthita bhajana kriya. Anisthita matlab, all of you know, like unsteady. Sometimes doing bhajana kriya nicely, sometimes he is not visible. What happened to Mataji, Prabhuji? Is somewhere not there. So unsteady devotional service means sometimes doing, sometimes not doing. Anisthita. Nishtha matlab committed, determined. Anisthita matlab undetermined or not committed. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur progressively explains that there are 6 stages of anisthita bhajana kriya. So all of you please make notes, otherwise you'll miss everything. It's not a katha, it's a seminar and workshop. So otherwise it will Madhurya Kadambini will be just going tangentially. Just put some pen, paper, or some notes, some mobile, something, so that it becomes effective. Sorry. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that progressively there is 6 stages of anisthita bhajana kriya. And the first stage, Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur says about Anishtita Bhajana Kriya is Utsahamai. Hare Krishna. Utsahamai is, Utsaha is enthusiasm, Mai is exhibition. You have seen exhibitions of art, portraits, and M.F. Hussein's Da Vinci portraits, and all those exhibitions. So why it is exhibition? Because generally what in an exhibition happens is that a person purchases art piece of different places and puts an exhibition. So Utsahamai is a stage of exhibition where one purchases some emotions and start imitating, like some people, like he sees, "Arey, when people, this Maharaj comes, so many people offer Dandavat, and this Maharaj walks like this, Maharaj talks like this, and I should also." So it's an exhibition of a spiritual process, spiritual personality, or it can be spiritual philosophy. So these three things, either the process, the personality, or the philosophy. But it's an exhibition. He has borrowed something from somewhere. He has borrowed some sloka from Bhagavad Gita, and he has seen how this sloka was chanted by X and Y and Z devotee, and he chanted it so nicely. He somehow remembers it, memorizes it, and starts singing it and showing, "Just see, Hare Krishna, I have become a pure devotee." And you others also, "Wow, what a eloquent Sanskrit words you are speaking. From where you learned?" "Oh, I just go to temple and learn this, and this is nice." So he or she starts borrowing some spiritual art pieces from different artists or devotees, and puts it on his body or in his self and does an exhibition. So this Utsahamai is a stage of an exhibition of enthusiasm borrowed from different places in order to showcase that how I have become very spiritual now. Hare Krishna, give me some respect. When other devotees are speaking Sanskrit slokas, they are getting some respect. So I should also speak some Bhagavad Gita slokas. Like I remember one devotee was sharing, in his office there was his manager. And his manager used to tell to him, "Arey, you are ISKCON devotee, you follow ISKCON?" This devotee would say, yes, I follow ISKCON. "So what is 5.29? And this devotee would say, 5.29? What is 5.29? Now, Bhagavad Gita, 5.29, quote it. And this devotee will somehow quote it and then say, "Okay, 2.37? And this devotee said, 2.37 I don't know, 5.29 I know, Bhuktaram Yagyadabasam, but 2.37 I don't know." So, "Don't know? What ISKCON devotee you are?" And then, "Okay, TK, 10.23. Say, "I don't know." "Arey, you go to ISKCON and you attend classes and you have taken Kanti Mala, you don't know these 2.37, 10.23, I will tell you. And you ask me any number." And then this devotee will say, "Okay, 11.43. And he will quote the sloka, 11.43. So most of the people, their spirituality, performance of spirituality is for an exhibition. So they associate with devotees, get something or learn something and start quoting it in order to showcase that how they are spiritual, right? But they would not follow the limbs of devotional service, they will not get trained by a spiritual master. Like this person, this manager of this company would never get trained by a spiritual master. He has just memorized, mugged up. In order to show how he is spiritual, he has learned all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Like many people have this attitude of memorizing all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Like one person came to Srila Prabhupada and said ki, my Gurudev, I have remembered 700 slokas, all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada said, okay, try to leave at least one sloka in your life. That would be nice. You don't seem to leave one sloka also, but what is the use of memorizing 700 slokas? So in this way, so the Utsahamai stage is a stage of exhibition. It's the stage of exhibition of one's devotional service. One is very interested in showing what he has learnt in new. And it is also a sporadic enthusiasm. Sometimes people initially become devotees and come to devotional service, and they think now they have just next day the door of Vrindavan will open and they will enter it and they are in Vrindavan. And oh Prabhuji, I am feeling so nice. And they would be crying, and other devotees are looking at them, ki baapre, they have become pure devotees or what, that they are crying and chanting, Prabhuji, aap to pura aaj Vrindavan bana diye. Like sometimes I have seen, I have gone and done some programs in communities, and we have done kirtans and everything. And some new people will come and they will say, Prabhuji, today is Vrindavan. You made Vrindavan, and they will cry, they will dance and everything. And when we'll announce, come for Bhagavad Gita class, there no one will appear. Not a single person will appear. This is Utsahamai. And again they will appear in the next community program. And again they will tell, Prabhu, Vrindavan ho gaya, today Vrindavan. Again you announce, Are, come for Bhagavad Gita class, weekly class or once in 15 days class. They will again not appear. This is Utsahamai stage. So they will cry for Krishna, and then they'll cry for Shah Rukh Khan, they'll cry for Salman Khan, they'll cry for Bollywood celebrities, Wherever they will go, they will cry. So this is Utsahamai. But this is an advanced stage, Bhajana Kriya stage, because at least they are coming to Sadhu Sangha. We should never condemn these type of things. We should understand they are coming to Sadhu Sangha. You will see some people will come for all the community programs, but they will not start chanting Hare Krishna. So they have taken determination, Dridha, Brat, that they will stay in this Utsahamai stage. They will come, get some Utsaha, ho gaya abhi, now again go back to material life. Now why this happens? Why a person is not able to advance from Utsahamai to second stage is he doesn't have faith. He has not developed faith in the process, in the spiritual master, in a person, in Krishna consciousness. He doesn't want to get trained, that's why. A person doesn't want to get tamed and trained, we say, na? When a person would want to get tamed, when a person feels that I love this personality. So that is why, in order to advance in all the stages of Bhajana Kriya, it is important that our surrender to Sadhu Sangha and especially Guru is enhanced. Then only we can go ahead. From Utsahamai to the next stage, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, we can only go only when his faith on one sadhu has increased. And at least for that sadhu, he is not interested now coming for some regular classes and all. But that Prabhuji has said, how I can tell no to him, so let me go. Then he goes to the next stage from Utsahamai, that is called the Ghana Tarala. Now he starts attending Bhagavad Gita classes. He has taken a little bit of more commitment of coming to the classes regularly. But Ghana, 1-2 months he is very, very regular. And then something happens in his life. Oh, how can Krishna do like this? I have started chanting Hare Krishna. I have started regularly attending Bhagavad Gita classes, and Krishna did like this to me, Prabhuji. Tarala. Tarala means again 2-3 months he is somewhere. Prabhuji, some problem has happened in my house, so much of problem, everything has to be settled, and when everything is settled, again spirituality. So then he settles up some things and again becomes ghana, that is thick in enthusiasm. And again some problem happens, some disturbances happens, again tarala, again ghana, again tarala. So he is trying to thick and thin. You have seen how sometimes the milkman does like this in order to cheat you. So sometimes he gives you nice milk, sometimes not nice milk. So ghana tarala, he does like this. But this is an advanced stage because he has ghana. At least he has taken some commitment. Ghana means he has taken some specific commitment. Utsahamai matlab no commitment. Just coming, nice Prabhuji, and going back again. And after some time again coming, nice Prabhuji, and going back. This is Utsahamai stage. But Ghana Tarala stage is an advanced stage where a person, because of his liking to the association of devotees, he regularly now associates. There is a commitment involved now. But that commitment becomes, it's 1-2 weeks he is doing some committed hearing, doing some committed chanting, and after that, Prabhuji, are you chanting? Oh Prabhuji, last 2-3 months I am not able to chant. I will definitely pick up again. So this is Ghana Tarala. And why Tarala happens? What is the reason of Tarala? Yes, anyone would like to say why there is Tarala? Why his... Please raise hand.
Because Prabhuji, we do not understand the seriousness of commitment in the starting stage.
Okay, we don't understand the seriousness of commitment. Yes, anyone else? Yes, anyone? Yes, Udit Prabhu.
Because he considers the success of his material life with bhakti.
Okay, he considers success of material life as bhakti. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Nidhi Mataji. Why Tarala?
He is not regularly associated with devotees.
Because he still not had complete faith into bhakti.
Okay,
Still
he's
not
not
had
having
complete
complete
faith
faith in...
into bhakti. He is just enjoying.
Okay, he's just enjoying. Okay. No, but he has become Ghana now. He has understood. He has understood taking commitment is important. But again, it is becoming Tarala. Why?
Because he is not having complete faith.
Okay, that is an universal answer. Let's be having a specific answer. You are able to understand. He is able to...
He is not prioritizing. He is prioritizing work according to, he is not prioritizing bhakti.
He is not prioritizing bhakti. Okay, but why he is not prioritizing bhakti? Why is becoming Tarala?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, actually, he considers spiritual life and material life still different. So, according to him, what is happening, if there is some problem in material life, Then he says that, like, okay, let me put it on hold, spiritual activities, and then go and settle it back. And then again comes back.
Okay, that's a very good answer. He considers that I have two lives. One is spiritual life, one is material life. So material life I have to do nicely, and spiritual life, whenever material life is nice, I will do spiritual life. Whenever material life goes here and there, then I'll first settle material life, then continue spiritual life. This is the ideal behavior of a devotee. Okay, anyone else? Sabyasachi Prabhu and Sumit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji is not regularly associating with the devotee.
Okay.
So that is why his devotion is flickering.
Okay, he's not regularly associating with devotees. But what is the reason he is not regularly associating with devotees? What is the reason? Why? Okay.
Prabhuji, Krishna Prabhuji is not able to develop the love to that segment.
Okay, he's not able to develop love. Love though will come in the 9th stage. Now we are just in 3rd stage. We are somehow okay, Sabyasachi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, his faith on the process and spiritual mastery is yet to be established. I'm saying 100% faith. As the reason it is going this side and that side, that's like pendulum.
Okay, so it's like a pendulum, so going this side, that side. His not faith is not established. Why? Okay. Okay.
So
yes.
His conditionings are really strong still. So he's not able to, still not yet overcome the conditionings. So the bhajan kriya is a little weak.
Okay, bhajan kriya is weak. We are discussing about weak bhajan kriya only. And we are trying to analyze the reason for weak bhajan kriya. Yes.
Because for the material attachments are still very strong because it's a very beginning phase. So the person has he knows about the spiritual process, but he doesn't take it seriously because for him still the material life is very important. It's not a priority.
Okay.
So maybe by associating more with devotees, slowly, he comes to understand, okay, now this is actually what is more important. So then he becomes way more serious.
One devotee said something closer to this. This is closer, and another devotee said something closest. Okay, last our Chandan Prabhu. Our Vijay Prabhu also wants to speak something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think till now, he has not taken commitment, thinking that yes, it is my responsibility to do it. This is I have decided. Sometimes that it is because of that sadhu is saying I am doing so the personal aspect is little less still in the commitment.
Okay, so the sadhu said that's why I did. अभी कभी कभी मैं करता हूँ. प्रभु जी जब बोलते हैं कर लेता हूँ. Whenever Prabhuji says I tell, whenever Prabhuji doesn't say I don't tell, I don't do. So that is why Ghanataral. Yes, Vijay Prabhu.
Whatever the devotee is asking us to do, because in the starting stage it will be very small commitment on a daily basis, maybe like chanting one round. But when one does not do that seriously, as a responsibility, or I'll follow it regularly, then that following of spiritual master is not there on a regular basis.
Okay, Sunita Mataji, last. This is last.
In the initial stages, it is discipline is very much required when the faith is not very strong. So if we, in the ups and downs, when we are not committed, in that is the time when discipline we have to give some time. This time we have dedicated for the God. So if we commit like this, then maybe after some time that faith will develop.
Okay, so we will not take further because we have to cover other stages. So Ghana Tarala is a stage of commitments taken for with a mental resolve, in the sense that the person has mentally understood that I have to take some commitments so that my mind is peaceful. His practice of Krishna consciousness is based on a very mental, sentimental platform. That is why our acharyas say that this is mood swing. This stage is called mood swing. The person swings based on the moods. If my mind is today nice, I will chant 16 rounds. And if I don't like, I will not chant any rounds. If I am feeling nice, I'll hear the lecture. And if I don't feel nice, I will don't do. So this is Ghana Tarala because it is based on mental state. The commitments is based on mind. मेरे को अच्छा लगा प्रभु जी आज मंदिर गया था today and I took some commitment. I will chant. So he took the commitment because of mind. And then the mood swings. There is some problem in the material life. So the mind says, oh, so much of time goes in this chanting and all those things. That's why, and then he gets into fully material life. And again the mind says, so his commitments are based on mind. And this Ghanataral stage, the commitments, whatever one does in Krishna consciousness is based on basically completely mental stage. Utsahamai is also a mental stage. Ghanatarala is an advanced mental stage. Utsahamai is there is no commitment only. The mood swings once in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, or one time it swings and after that in entire lifetime it will not swing only. But now at least the oscillations have come periodic and predictable oscillations of the mind. At least there is weekly oscillations, or 1 week he is there, 1 week he is not there, or daily oscillations. Today he feels like chanting, he does. Prabhuji, why there are like बाध्यता से भक्ति होता है क्या बांध के? मैं अपने आप को बांधना नहीं चाहता हूँ. Like today, recently one person I said that you chant Hare Krishna one round Hare Krishna every day. Actually, I don't want to bind myself. Binding doesn't make a person devotee. You don't become a devotee by binding and everything. Whichever day I feel like chanting, and I chant lot of rounds. Sometimes I chant even 16 rounds, as ISKCON devotees say. And this binding of every day, this is not this is a Ghana Tarala person or Utsahamai person, technically defined as Ghana Tarala or Utsahamai. Ki Prabhuji, why is this binding? Love is spontaneous. Love comes out automatically, pours out from the heart, Prabhuji. Just like Hanumanji teared off the heart, and then there is Sita Ram, I will tear off, and there is Radha, Krishna, Prabhu. So love has to come out on its own, and these badhyatas, these commitments, not possible. So this, he understands that mood swings. His commitments are based on his moods. That is the major problem of Ghana Tarala, major problem of being Tarala. Because his Ghana is also based on mood only. So his Tarala will happen now. Mind always is flickering. Right? The nature of mind is Chanchalahi Manaha Krishna Pramati Balabhadridham Vayureva Suduskaram. So Duskaram. So the nature of the mind is it keeps on oscillating, mood swings happens. So but then a person goes ahead to the next stage where he understands that my mind is getting disturbed because he has come for mental peace, and mental peace doesn't happen. And it's not happening. His mind is getting disturbed and all those things. And then he hears from devotees that mind is disturbed because of, as one devotee said, material attachments. Give up your material attachments. Then your mind will be peaceful. Because of, like Prahlad Maharaj says to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was not at stage of Ganatarala, but Prahlad Maharaj, being a pure devotee, gave instruction to Hiranyakashipu. What is the instruction? Anyone remembers the sloka? Very nice sloka. Huh? Yes? No. Yes. Matirna, all of you, one devotee recite back. Matirna Krishne. Anyone? Parato Swato Va. Matirna Krishne Parato Swato Va. Oh, this is. No, this is not the verse. What is that verse? Dhyam asat grihat. Sada samudvigna dhyam asat grihat. Ritva. Matirna Krishne Paratos. Hrutvatmapakam griham. Tat sadhu manye. Yes, correct. Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehina. Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgrihat. Sada samudvigna dhyam. Someone can share this verse? Nice verse. Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asadgrihat. So he hears this verse that devotees tell ki why you are disturbed. Sada samudvigna. Samudvigna means anxiety, disturbance, mental disturbance. Why this mental disturbance is happening? Because asat grahat. You have your material attachments. Give up your material attachments. Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asat grahat hitvatma patam grihamandakupam Banam gatayom Hari Ashrayeta. Take shelter of Hari. Give up your material attachments. This is Prahlad Maharaj speaking to Hiranyakashipu, who is not even Utsamai stage. This is how a pure devotee looks. No one can imagine. Can you go and preach like this to some criminal, some underworld don? Right? Give up your material attachment. Why you are disturbed? You are disturbed because of your material attachments. So this person who is disturbed because of his mind, his practice of devotional service is to make his mind peaceful, and he is swinging based on his mental swings. He hears from the devotees that your mind is not peaceful. The reason of your lack of mental peace is because of your material attachments. Give up all the material attachments. Renounce. Follow the four regulative principles. So, till Ghanatarala stage, he has taken some devotional service of Bhajana Kriya, but still he is breaking the four regulative principles. So the next stage he enters, or he can enter only when he gives up negativity. And that's how the third stage comes, that is Vyudha Vikalpa. Vyudha Vikalpa is doubts. Arising, छोड़ना चाहिए क्या? Is it required to leave? Are devotees telling right? Non-veg gives protein. That's what the outside world is telling. And these devotees are telling this is sinful activity. My father took, my grandfather took, my mother took, my whole relatives are taking, my family members are taking. They are flourishing in their life. If they are doing sinful activity, why they are flourishing? And devotees are telling, because I am breaking this 4 regulative principle, my mind is so disturbed. Oh, I have to give up. I was not knowing. My goodness. Similarly, intoxication. Oh, how will I manage? I was going to corporate parties, and anyway, little bit of here and there happens, and fully, completely dry. How will I live a dry life? So, and then about illicit sex. Generally, illicit sex in India, at least, it's not such a big problem. But definitely, as things are happening, more and more people are becoming degraded, so it's becoming a problem. So I have to give it up. I have to give up all these things. So there is Vyudha Vikalpa. There are doubts to Vikalpa means alternatives. Is there any alternative where I can be spiritual and still also not renounce these things? I can continue with my negative, breaking the 4 regulative principles and still be considered a spiritual person. Is there any alternative spiritual path? I think this Krishna conscious path is very, very not for everyone. I have to find out one easy path maybe. Is it this Krishna consciousness the best process? Is there any process which can say that I can still break the 4 regulative principles and be considered a spiritual person? So this is Vyudha Vikalpa. And then he reads the slokas. And he says, oh, no, no, no. Bhagavatam says these are all the etad adharma chaturvidha. These are all adharma. I have to give it up. But these spiritual organization is there. This spiritual organization, they don't give these restrictions of following the 4 regulative principle. And this is also a spiritual organization. Why ISKCON? I think I have joined the wrong spiritual organization. Maybe I have to give it up and join that spiritual organization. But ISKCON devotees are very, very educated. And they are very intellectuals and they are very good people. So if educated people are there, that means this is the best path. But how do I give up? I have been doing this from long time and I'm so attached to it. So Vyudha Vikalpa. This is the stage of having a tug of war. Vyudha Vikalpa means tug of war. Not exactly tug of war, but doubts whether it is the best process. Because if someone can give up the material attachments only when he understands that is convinced about the spiritual attachments, about what he will get. So this stage of doubts come. Now here, this is the stage, a very, very deciding phase in the life of a devotee. And now it is for sure, like previous 2 stages, Ghanatarala, Utsahamai, to come above. Fine, Sadhu Sangha is there and all, but at Vyudha Vikalpa stage, if he has to now go ahead, can anyone say what is the most important thing? He's having so much of doubts.
Sankalp.
Okay, Sankalp already is. Sankalp is doing so much of failures. If he has Drudha Sankalp, so how he has to do Drudha Sankalp, yes?
Question of other devotees.
Repeat the question, Raghuji.
I am telling that I told that from Utsahamai he goes to Ghanatarala by associating with devotees, and then Ghanatarala he comes to understand from devotees association that his mind is becoming disturbed. The disturbance of his mind is happening because of the material attachments, and he understands that from the scriptures, from the reading of the scriptures, I have to give up material attachments. I have to follow the 4 regulative principles. I have to give up all the negativities. Then I'll become actually truly spiritual. Now he has doubt. Shall I give up? He's not able to give up. This Vyudha Vikalpa is there. So how he can go ahead further, this Vyudha Vikalpa stage? Because this is a very, very deciding stage. A person sometimes leave Krishna consciousness at this stage. Generally, Bhagavad Gita is very nice, and then you tell about Bhagavad Gita, how it does stress management, very nice. Oh, chanting Hare Krishna, very nice. Do meditation, very nice. Meditation से मन बहुत हल्का हो जाता है, very nice. But then as soon as you tell about 4 regulative principles, finished. Vyudha Vikalpa. Hare. 6 months, it was very nice, everything. I was not knowing that this has to be done. I have to follow these 4 principles. I have to give up also. I was only thinking I have to only add Krishna in life. I have to give up also certain things. So this is Vyudha Vikalpa. So how to cross over Vyudha Vikalpa? That is the question. Because generally people live at this stage. Krishna consciousness, the external things of Krishna consciousness are quite entertaining, especially our programs, our cultural aspects, our kirtans, our prasadam, everything is entertaining till you go to Vyudha Vikalpa stage. And this is the deciding factor where you have to give up your mental entertainment and then go ahead. Right? Here entertainment ends because finished. Now I have to go ahead. How do a person goes ahead? Yes, Sanjukta Mataji has raised hand.
Prabhuji, if there is sadhu sangha, I mean, if we take what sadhu are saying in a mental level, if they are saying me to do this, then I mean, it is very easy to cross over these things. No?
Okay, at least you develop some mental attachment to the sadhus. Okay, so he is telling this thing. Okay, Tarun Prabhu.
This same thing, he should have faith in at least one person whom he can confide and
one Hari Bol for Tarun Prabhu. Confession. So at least one person among the mandali of sadhus, right now it is finished. Sadhu ho gaya, abhi now he has to surrender to Guru. Then only he can go ahead. If he considers sadhu and Guru as same, he will stay whole life in Vyudha Vikalpa stage. Whole life. Lifetimes may pass. He may stay in Vyudha Vikalpa stage because he considers, oh, everyone is a sadhu. I should associate with sadhus, get some spiritual things. And he knows, if I go to a guru, he will tell, accept anukulyasya sankalpa, accept favorable things and reject unfavorable things, pratikulyasya varjanam. Guru will definitely tell, ye karo, wo karo, and he is not ready for it. So, but at least among the mandali of sadhus, if he finds one guru, then only he can go ahead in Vyudha Vikalpa stage to the next stage. And that is why it is important that at this stage, the person is told about the glories of Siksha Guru, the glories of Diksha Guru, the glories of taking shelter of a person in order to go ahead in Krishna consciousness. So we will take some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrit and also Bhagavatam. So Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Recite? Someone recite?
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Guru Krishna Rupahaya Sastrera Pramane.
Guru Krishna Rupahaya Shastrera Pramane.
Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane.
Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to the deliberate opinion of all the revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. Purport. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifested representation of Godhead. The next sloka, this is a verse from Bhagavatam. This is a very famous verse. Acharya mam bijaniyan. Yes.
Acharya mam bijaniyan.
Navamanyeta karhichet.
Navamanyeta karhichet.
Namartya buddhi budhashuya.
Namartya buddhi budhashuya.
Sarvadevo Mayo Guru.
Sarvadevo Mayo Guru.
So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. One should know the Acharya as myself, Krishna is telling to Uddhava. Acharya Mam, one should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam about how one should respect the Acharya, how one should respect the Guru. And in the third verse, Siksha Guru ke tajani Krishnera Swarupa.
Siksha Guru ke tajani Krishnera Swarupa.
Antaryami Bhakta Sreshta Ei Dui Rupa.
Antaryami Bhakta Sreshta Ei Dui Rupa.
And someone else. Siksha Guru ke tajani Krishnera Swarupa.
Siksha Guru ke tajani Krishnera Swarupa.
Antaryami Bhakta Sreshta Ei Dui Rupa.
Antaryami Bhakta Shrestha Ei Dui Rupa.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. One should know the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the super soul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami states that the instructing spiritual master is a bona fide representative of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna himself teaches us as the instructing spiritual master from within and without. From within, he teaches us Paramatma, our constant companion, and from without, he teaches from Bhagavad Gita as the instructing spiritual master. There are two kinds of instructing spiritual masters. One is the liberated person, fully absorbed in meditation and devotional service, and other is he who invokes the disciple's spiritual consciousness by means of relevant instructions. Thus, the instructions in the science of devotion are differentiated in terms of objective and subjective ways of understanding. The Acharya, in true sense of the term, who is authorized to deliver Krishna, enriches the disciple with full spiritual knowledge and thus awakens him to the activities of devotional service. When by learning from the self-realized spiritual master one actually engages himself in the service of Lord Vishnu, functional devotional service begins. The procedures of this devotional service are known as abhideya, or actions one is duty bound to perform. Our only shelter is the Supreme Lord, and our one who teaches how to approach Krishna is the functioning form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no difference between the shelter giving Supreme Lord and the initiating and instructing spiritual masters. If one foolishly discriminates between them, he commits an offense in the discharge of devotional service. Srila Sanatan Goswami is the ideal spiritual master, for he delivers one the shelter of lotus feet of Madan Mohan. Even though one may be unable to travel on the field of Vrindavan due to forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can get an adequate opportunity to stay in Vrindavan and derive all spiritual benefits by the mercy of Sanatan Goswami. Sri Govindji acts exactly like the Siksha Guru, instructing spiritual master by teaching Arjuna the Bhagavad Gita. He is the original preceptor, for he gives us instructions and opportunity to serve him. The initiating spiritual master is a personal manifestation of Srila Madan Mohan Vigraha, whereas the instructing spiritual master is a personal representative of Srila Govinda Dev Vigraha. Both of these deities are worshipped at Vrindavan. Srila Gopinath is the ultimate attraction in spiritual realization. There are some technical details in this purport which we will not go right now. We will go a little ahead in our discussion in Madhurya Kadambini. But the point is just to understand, when a person has to cross over the Vyudha Vikalpa stage, he has to develop attachment, attraction to at least one guru, and he has to surrender. Then only based on his attachment to one particular sadhu, he can give up the attachment to his negativities. Right? So because he is not able to experience Krishna in his life, but because this person is telling, I love this person, I will give up. Though I am so attached to this, though I am so attached to doing this in a particular way, but because this person is telling, I will follow it. So this is called how to Vyudha Vikalpa and how to cross over the Vyudha Vikalpa stage. Till Vyudha Vikalpa stage, one is fine even if he doesn't consider anyone as guru, coming to devotional service, coming to temple, meeting all the sadhus, dealing with the sadhus, chanting some things. But as soon as he wants to give up negativities in his life, he has to accept someone as guru and then confide in him that these are my doubts regarding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, these are my doubts regarding the practice of Krishna consciousness, these are my doubts regarding the personalities in Krishna consciousness. So doubts come from these three phases. Sometimes we have philosophical doubts. Is God really a person? I have been told that God is some light, some Brahma Jyoti, Brahman, like this. Now I am hearing in ISKCON that God is a person. Is Vishnu the supreme person, or Krishna the supreme person, or Lord Shiva is the supreme person? People say Lord Shiva is the supreme person, and you say that Krishna is supreme person. Some in South India they say Narayan is supreme person. Who is the supreme person? So he gets philosophical doubts. Similarly, he gets doubts in the practice. Oh, why have to put tilak like this? Is tilak everyone can put? When I will go out, how will I put tilak? So he gets doubts about practices. And he gets doubts about personalities. That is, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, I have been hearing. Is Lord Chaitanya Krishna? I don't believe Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He is not Krishna. Nityananda is not Balaram. Or he gets doubts about personalities like the Guru Parampara and all those things. Oh, really? Did it happen really? So he gets doubts about personalities. So all his doubts gets revealed. He gets conviction only when he surrenders to a person. Otherwise, these doubts will kill him and he is out of Krishna, back to pavilion of material life. So this is a very deciding phase in the life of a sadhaka, in the life of a practitioner in devotional service. Or he may go back to pavilion or choose another path, spiritual path, which gives permissions and license in breaking the four regulative principles, in license in following up the negativities. So he may follow that path. Or if he wants to continue, he has to now surrender to some guru. And then he crosses and then reaches the next three stages, which I think it's too much. Three stages are sufficient today to discuss. And the next three stages of Anisthita Bhajana Kriya we will discuss the next class. The next three stages are important. So that's why we will take a little more substantial time, 1 hour almost, for discussing. Yes, any questions?
These verse numbers, can you give?
Okay, this verse numbers. Actually, I had thought of reciting some other, one more sloka. This is, we'll recite that and I'll give all the verse numbers. Just 1 minute, I will share this verse. This is a verse, very special verse. Recently, I remembered this verse. We will recite this verse. And then I'll give all the verse numbers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh, anyone? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Naivo Payanta Pachitim Kavayastavesha.
Naivo Payantya Pachitim Kavayastavesha.
Brahma Yushapi Kritam Riddha Muda Smaranta.
Brahma Yushapi Kritam Riddha Muda Smaranta.
Yontar Vahistanubhritam Asubham Vidhunvan.
Yontar Vahistanubhritam Asubham Vidhunvan.
Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Swagatim Vyanakti.
Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Vyanakti.
Naivo Payanta Pachitim Kavayastavesha. Someone else?
Naivo Payanta Apichitim Kavayasvesha.
Brahma Yushapi Kritaruddha Muda Smaranta.
Brahma Yushapi Kritam Riddhamudha Smaranta.
Yontar Vahistanubhritam Asubham Vidhunvan.
Yontar Vahistanubhritam Ashubham Vidhunvan.
Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Swagatim Vyanakti.
Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Swagatim Vyanakti.
O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their in-depthness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. Purport. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Lord Krishna is 10 million times more dearer to a devotee than life itself. And according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, even by rendering devotional service for the total duration of 1000 universal creations, a devotee cannot repay the debt he feels to the Lord for having awarded him loving service to the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord appears within the heart as the super soul and externally both as the spiritual master and his literally incarnation, the Shastras, the supreme Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So this verse explains that Brahma Ayushapi Kritam Ruddha Mudha Smaranta. Even if one remembers and glorifies, Mudha matlab with great happiness and ecstasy, even if Smaranta one remembers the glories and chants the glories for Brahma Ayushapi, for one lifetime of Brahma, he will not be able to repay the debt he owes to Paramatma and the spiritual master. So I was looking for a verse about, we hear this concept, right? We cannot repay the debt to spiritual master and Paramatma, but this is a Bhagavatam reference of a verse telling that how even after glorifying, serving the spiritual master for a Brahma Ayusha, one cannot repay the debt to Paramatma, who is the Chaitya Guru, and also Acharya, who is the Bahya Guru. So there are two Gurus, the Chaitya Guru as Paramatma and the Bahya Guru as the Acharya. And Asubham Vidhunvan, one who, these two personalities, they destroy the Asubham, that is the doubts in the life of a living entity. So the verses that I quoted today in the classes are, this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 11th canto, 29th chapter, 6th number verse. Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 29, 6. This verse is quoted by Uddhava to Krishna. And the other verses which I quoted was Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Leela 145. Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Leela 145. Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Leela 146. But this is not a Chaitanya Charitamrit verse. This 146 verse is actually from Bhagavatam 11, 17, 27. Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 17, 27. And the next one is Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Leela 147. So 145, 46 and 47 of Chaitanya Charitamrit and 11, 29, 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the 4 slokas we quoted in today's class. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Madhurya Kadambini ki jai. Anyone have any questions, comments? Yes. Okay. Nidhi Mataji has some question. You are muted.
Hi Krishna Prabhuji. I had 2 questions actually. One was that do we have to clear, are we in all the stages of mentioned herein, and then we move to the next one, because the first stage has got 2 subsections. So do we move into each one and then we move to the second stage?
No, not like that. They are not, these stages are not digital. Like someone may be in a Ghanatarala stage and still doubts come up. He's surrendering to Guru, and his surrender to Guru is not that much enhanced, so doubts are still there. So it's a very, very mixture of all these stages. So no one actually experiences the stages digitally, like, oh, now Ghanatarala is over, and then December 2022 I will start the Vyudha Vikalpa stage. It's not like that. You cannot determine a time, but you can experience everything in your life. Like all of you, when I was speaking, would have experienced these things in your course of practice, and you will experience the further. I don't know which stage you are right now, but then after some times when the discussion will start, you will see that Prabhuji, it's going up. I am not able to understand, because now you do not have experience. These are all now stages which you have not crossed or not happened, right? Like one may be still in Vyudha Vikalpa stage and can still be in Anartha Nibritti and go ahead stage. So the stages which you all are able to relate are the stages which have come in your life. You have got those sour of nectar to some extent. After some time, it will not become relatable. Like the stage of Asakti, if I say, and then the Bhava, Prabhuji, what, the technical difference between Sneha, Pranaya, then Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Anubhava, and Vibhava. So you'll not be able to relate anything about all the technical details. Why? Because you have not experienced it. But when you are experiencing, then you can differentiate. Oh, this is Sneha, this is Pranaya. Otherwise, Sneha and Pranaya are same only. For all of you in English, one word is there, that is love. But there is Sneha, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava, Madanyakya Mahabhava. So these are the stages of Prem. And everything is defined as love in English. That's why English is a mlechcha language.
And Prabhuji, the second question was, if that be so, then how do we determine which stage we are in?
We are a mixture of different stages, but one stage would be a prominent stage. How do I determine which stage you are in? You have to confide. to me on a personal level than only. But you, this is a science which, this is a science of a personal application, right? And you would see that you would have some tinge of Vyuda Vikalpa, some tinge of Ado Shraddha, some tinge of, there's a mixture. You will not have the 100% faith on surrendering to a person. So those things are there. It's a mixture of all those stages, and then there is Nidhi Surakha. It's devotional service.
If it's a mixture of all the stages, then how do we eye for the next stage?
Oh, because you will definitely experience a prominent stage. Right now you are not able to understand, but as we go ahead, you will understand, oh, this is the stage which I am battling now. Main balls are coming of this. There may be some, like, if you know a little bit of cricket, some balls are coming of off spin and leg spin and all those things, but main ball is pacer ball that is coming. So you'll be able to understand, but there will be a mixture of spin bowling and all those things, some googly, some like that, little bit of cricket.
You will help us to understand on a personal.
I don't know how will I help. I don't want to commit Vaishnava aparadh. I made the disclaimer in the beginning. All of you said, please teach us. So I am teaching now, and I made a clear-cut declarative statement that it is for your own personal application. You find out which stage you are. And go ahead by surrendering to Guru and Krishna. But definitely you are in some of the stage. One thing for sure, you are one of the stage. Which prominent stage, you find out. Right now it is not, we'll go ahead. So why you are so much worried, right? Maybe the prominent stage is for you is much ahead. That's why you are not able to figure out. So, okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Selja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We were discussing about this Vyuda Vikalpa. In this stage, definitely surrender to Guru is also needed. And Param Drishta Nivartanti means when we get the taste of chanting, then it goes all our negative things. Is it also true or not?
No. Vyuda Vikalpa stage, it is not true. The higher stages, higher taste will come. We'll discuss about higher stage when it is necessary. If one is dependent on higher taste for giving up one's doubt, not possible. It is not possible just on the basis of higher taste that he can give up his doubts. His doubts will not go, and it will again haunt him at a later stages of his life. If now it is not hunting, and through some higher taste he is getting, mostly the higher taste is mental. It's not a spiritual higher taste he is releasing. So he has to, the person, if he has doubts, he has to confide if he wants to go ahead. Otherwise, he will get stuck. And whatever his experiences of devotional service may be based on just a mental. That's why the below two stages, Ghanatarala and Utsahamai, they are all mental stages of devotional service. Post Vyuda Vikalpa, because he surrenders to spiritual master, he develops an intellectual understanding at least of Krishna consciousness. At least intellectually, he understands Krishna consciousness. He gets intellectually convinced because his doubts are clear. So, practice of Krishna consciousness on the level of mind is very, very flickering. But at least after post Vyuda Vikalpa, he comes to the platform of practicing devotional service based on platform of intelligence. I am spirit soul, no doubt about it. Whether I am able to realize and experience, it's a different thing. But I am spirit soul, no doubt about it. Right? But when someone is practicing on a mental level, he still has doubt whether he's spirit soul or heart, or whether Krishna consciousness is the best path, whatever, he still has doubts. So he has to surrender to Guru. Otherwise, going ahead will be difficult. He may go ahead, but again he will fall back and leave Krishna consciousness. He has to become fully convinced. Not fully 100% convinced, but at least intellectually he has to become 100% convinced post this stage. Intellectually he has to become 100% convinced post this stage. Otherwise he cannot go ahead. Even if he is not experiencing higher taste, intellectually he has to be convinced that Bhagavad Gita, what is speaking, Srimad Bhagavatam, what is being speaking, and the process which I have been given is the best process to make me go back to Godhead. The goal of life is going back to Godhead. So he is convinced now at the Vyudha Vikalpa stage that goal of life is going back to Godhead. Then only he will enter the next stage. If goal is not clear in this stage, then the next stage will not come. The next stage is called Visaya Sangara, a war with the material energy. Only when his aim is to go to spiritual world, he will raise a war against material energy, na? Why a person will raise a war, a civil war, until unless he has some thinking about benefit of making a different country, right? Imagine two states. If they are convinced, if we raise a civil war, what will happen? We will divide into two states and will become independent states or independent countries. Then only, na? So when he has a higher conviction that I will go to spiritual world, he will raise a war against the Visaya, sense gratification of this material world. So he has to be convinced about the goal, the purpose, the identity at this stage intellectually. Is this clear? There is no question of now mind. Mind is switched off. Mental practices of Krishna consciousness, man acha laga wo, that happens only in Utsamai and Ganatarala. Post Vyudha Vikalpa, it is intelligence working.
Like Prabhuji, most of our reading group, that means they are not connected to you, but they are like following four regulative principles very, very strictly nowadays. They are chanting also, most of them 16 rounds. So
four regulative principles is not the only negative attachment one has. Four regulative principle is a level of coming to human being. Okay. It's not necessary that if someone is following four regulative principle, then he has crossed Vyudha Vikalpa stage.
That is what Prabhuji, that you have to explain in details because.
So it's not necessary that just someone is following the four regulative principles, he has crossed the Vyudha Vikalpa stage. Material attachments means understanding, as Veer Narasimha Prabhu was quoting in one place. He was telling today that material life and spiritual life are separate. This is a material attachment. One doesn't understand, I have to practice now spiritual life and material life is to help me assist my spiritual life. This is, you have crossed Vyudha Vikalpa.
Yes.
So, as soon as you differentiate between material life and spiritual life, then you have not crossed Vyudha Vikalpa stage. So, Vyudha Vikalpa is crossed when you have no differentiation. You are clear that the goal and the path is spiritual path only. Material thing is just like you are clear that the goal is to go to office. But for going office, I need to take bath, I need to go to washroom and do all the necessary things. They are necessary, but they are not the goal. So similarly, for someone to cross over Vyudha Vikalpa, he has to understand that spiritual life is the goal, but material life is necessary to achieve spiritual goals sometimes. Like in order to go to office, I need to go to washroom. Goal is not to go to washroom. Goal of the day is not to go to washroom. You will not say that, I have achieved the purpose of today because I went to washroom and I cleared the stomach. Someone is facing constipation problem, he may be having that type of goal. But generic goal of everyone is not to go to washroom. Generic goal of everyone is to do something productive in the day. But in order to do that, one has to take bath, one has to do the daily necessary activities. So he considers material life as going to washroom only. It is necessary, but it is not the goal. He considers going to washroom, taking bath, these are all necessary activities. That's not the goal. So similarly, the material activities, I have to do a job, I have to get married, I have to take care of the family, this and that, all these are necessary activities to achieve the spiritual goal. There is no different, my life is spiritual life. Material life I have to do so that I keep on going on in my spiritual life. So this has to, at least this has to be intellectually convinced. He may not be able to experience it. At least he should be intellectually convinced that the goal is spiritual life. The goal of human form of life is to go back to Godhead. Not to do a career, not to do an ambition. So he has viewed a vikalpa doubts. What career I should take? We said we should give up the career or not give up the career. So he has all these doubts. Why these doubts are there? Because he has to now give up. Previously his goal was career. Previously his goal was marriage. Like sometimes people have goal as marriage, and a little problem happens in marriage, finished, their life is frustrated. Like recently I was just reading a book by His Holiness Devamrit Maharaj. In that he writes a song that he used to hear in his childhood days. Will you still love me tomorrow? Oh, the night is so sweet. And will you still love me tomorrow? So people who have goal that marriage is the goal, they sing songs like this. Today you are loving my sweetheart so nicely, but will you still love me tomorrow? If you don't love me, what will happen to me? So their goal is marriage. So very nice book I was reading. We can have a seminar on that, what is spoken in that book. So like that. So his goal is now spiritual. And that is why there are doubts. Because from beginning till this point of his life, everyone was telling the goal is material, goal is career, goal is job, goal is dream girl, dream job. So then now, this sadhu is coming and telling, and sadhus are telling, the goal is spiritual life, going back to Godhead. Kya bol raha hai? So, and all other things have to be subservient of this goal of going back to Godhead. If your career is against your going back to Godhead, give up your career. What, Prabhuji? Huh? Someone was doing poultry farm business. This poultry farm business is against your real goal of this sinful. Give up this poultry farm business. Take up some other business. Prabhu, from our generation together, we were doing poultry farm. We were doing raising chickens and killing them. How do I give up? He has to surrender to Guru. He will have doubts and all this thing. This is how. And it may not necessarily only be 4 regulative principles. 4 regulative principles is most gross. Okay?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Sabyasachi Prabhu. Then whether it is Syama Priya or Vijay, I don't know. Someone has raised hand. And then Sukriti Mataji. Then we'll end.
Hare Krishna. The third stage we talk about the Bhajan Kriya, which is most important. I believe this word comes from Sanskrit word Bhajanti Dhatu. And this is probably used many times in Bhagavad Gita. We can remember at least 3 times, 9.13, 9.29 and 6.47. Krishna is talking about Bhajante. And one of the famous Bhajante is saying that, in 6.47, that Yogina Sarveshan, Sardavan Bhajante. So in the 3 times, which is the same word which is used, in 2 times, Prabhupada is translating Bhajanti is rendering transcendental loving service, and once he is saying only rendering service. Now, while Bhajana Kriya is so much important, which decides the future of a devotee, whether to stay in bhakti or not to stay in bhakti, we understand this bhajante or bhajan kriya is displaying all activities related to Navada bhakti, or it is somehow in some stages it is showing or some stages it's not showing.
Okay. So we are discussing about not bhajana kriya, we are discussing about a specific anisthita bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is available even in the prema stage, in the bhava stage, in the higher stages of devotional service. So that is also bhajana kriya, but this stage is anisthita bhajana kriya, that he is doing devotional service in an unsteady fashion. And primarily the devotional service bhajana kriya that is being spoken in Kali Yuga's perspective is chanting and hearing, Shravan and Kirtan. So further going ahead, we will see that how other processes of bhajana kriya become prominent, but someone who is a bona fide spiritual authority or a master, he would guide the disciple to focus on Shravan and Kirtan in the preliminary stages of his bhajana kriya. There are other stages of Navavidha Bhakti like Smaran, then there is Bandhanam, then there is Pada Sevanam, Atma Nivedanam, Archanam, and all those things. But those processes are for advanced practitioners of Bhajana Kriya. The preliminary aspect for a preliminary practitioner of Bhajana Kriya is to focus primarily on Shravan and Kirtan. And rather in Kali Yuga, Shravan and Kirtan is the most important aspect. Rather, we have seen the Goswamis focusing only on Shravan and Kirtan. They didn't do much elaborate worship. They had deities. They made other devotees do the deity worship. They established the standards of deity worship, but they themselves served as an acharya, as an example to chant and hear as the primary processes of bhakti, because it is the process for Kali Yuga. But then there are other aspects of Navavidha Bhakti also, which becomes important only when we cross certain stages in the devotional service. Like for example, Sakhyam. Sakhyam is a devotional service, it's a limb of devotional service. But if it is practiced by someone in a neophyte stage, it has become sahajiyaik. Matlab, you do not understand, oh, Krishna is my friend, oh, Krishna is my son, Krishna is my daughter, right? This is a devotional service. It's a limb of devotional service which has to be practiced after bhava stage. That is the 8th stage of devotional service, even post asakti. Only after developing asakti, and we will describe what is asakti. Asakti is not just considering, oh, Krishna is my friend. It is not asakti. So then we can only perform Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, similarly Bandhanam. Generally, Bandhanam is a limb of pure devotional service. So if you think Bandhanam is a devotional service, we will go to temple and pray, oh Krishna, give me a job, and we think we have done Bandhanam, prayers. This is not Bandhanam. This is not Bandhanam, which is being spoken as a limb of devotional service. Bandhanam is praying to Krishna for pure devotional service. But until unless we are convinced about pure devotional service, we would not pray like that. So in a neophyte stage, if one considers Bandhanam as the limb of devotional service, he would pray for material things and he would consider that I have done Bandhanam. That is why in the beginning, most important aspect and limb of devotional service is Shravan and Kirtan. So Shravan and Kirtan is the most important aspect for almost till Nishtha. Post Nishtha, the other limbs of devotional service become more and more required. But till Nishtha, most important is Shravan and Kirtan. And the second thing I said was about, you asked about the bhajan, bhajana kriya. So we are not discussing bhajana kriya, we are discussing anisthita bhajana kriya. Bhajana Kriya is there in further stages also, but it becomes Nisthita Bhajana Kriya. Then Premamaya Bhajana Kriya, Bhavamaya Bhajana Kriya, Ruchimaya Bhajana Kriya, Asaktimaya Bhajana Kriya. So this is Anisthita Bhajana Kriya. फिर निष्ठित भजन क्रिया, then there is ruchi maya bhajana kriya, asakti bhajana kriya. So there is bhajana kriya till end, but that bhajana kriya is enhanced as we go ahead. So we don't leave bhajana kriya, we continue with our bhajana kriya, but this is beginning of bhajana kriya, that is anisthita. Is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Yes, Vijay, Prabhu, Syama, Priya, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hari Bol, Dandavad.
Prabhu, my doubt is actually in the last class, like we ended the class by saying that even in the first and the second stage of bhakti, that is in Shraddha and in Sadhu Sangha, there is Bhajana Kriya in that level also. So what is the difference between the Bhajana Kriya and the first two levels and the third level of Bhajana Kriya? So what is the difference?
Yeah. So the Sadhu Sangha level and the Adosradha level, there is some Bhajana Kriya definitely, but in the third level there is Bhajana Kriya. So the difference is in the level of commitment. Even in the stage of Utsahamai also there is some commitment. Whatever big program happens, this Utsahamai person will come. At least he is committed, at least for the big programs. At least he is committed for Janmashtami. Janmashtami hai Prabhuji, how will I not come to the temple? I will come. I have never missed any Janmashtami till now in ISKCON. So this is Utsahamai stage. But at least there is some commitment. But someone who is in Ado Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha is not committed even at least once in a year. Like one person was telling, Ki Prabhuji, since this till this year, every year I have been committed. I have committed to go to Jagannath Puri and take darshan of Jagannath Ji, and I have never missed. From my so he told some years, 10 years, at the age of 10 he resolved, or 12 he resolved, whatever he resolved sometimes, and he is now 50. Last 30 years, 40 years, every year he has gone to Jagannath temple, Puri, darshan. So he's a Utsahamai stage. The only thing is that he's not able to understand, go ahead, because Sadhu Sangha is not, he's just going and associating with the temple devotees or something, or coming to ISKCON also, but he's not going ahead. So there is commitment. Bhajana Kriya means commitment. But if there is no commitment, then it is Sadhu Sangha and Ado Shraddha. As soon as any type of commitment, once in a year commitment, once in 2 year commitment, once in a month commitment, once in 6 months commitment, festival commitments, so whatever commitment, like some people, like these well-wishers are there to ISKCON, they're committed to festivals. They will come, they take up some festival, that Swamiji, Janmashtami hamara hai. जन्माष्टमी हमारा है, नहीं जन्माष्टमी आपका नहीं है, जन्माष्टमी कृष्ण का है, नहीं जन्माष्टमी हमारा है, हम यजमान है जन्माष्टमी के, साल साल हम ही यजमान रहे हैं स्वामी जी जन्माष्टमी के, and they are committed. So they will commit, they will come in the Janmashtami, they will become yajman, and they will do all the arrangements and everything, and there is Utsahamai stage. It's a commitment. They are not Ado Shraddha, they are not Sadhu Sangha, they are advanced stage. So committed well-wishers are like that. There are very lot of committed well-wishers. Like there are some committed well-wishers for the temple of Vedic planetarium we are building. They may not be devotees, but they are well-wishers, but they are committed. मंदिर बना के रखेंगे, देखेंगे मंदिर बनाएगा इधर, and then they will collect funds, they will get, and but they will go ahead further in devotional service only when they continue going ahead in bhajana kriya. Right? So there is commitment. Wherever commitment is involved, there is bhajana kriya stage. He has come to a higher stage. Is this clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Yes. Sukriti Devidasi ki jai. Last question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question was I'm talking about myself. I know that now I have to follow all the regulative principles I'm following from so many years, and there is no question of other life. We are living a single life, there's no material life and spiritual life separate. Still, we go to that Ghanataral stage there where we are sometimes practicing very nicely, and sometimes our mind is totally absent.
So
Like
the
we're
next,
not hearing
so
at
that
all.
is
So
the
why
next
does
stage.
that happen?
That is the next stage, Visaya Sangara, fighting and battling with our mind when though we have fully got convinced. So that is the next stage. You are describing the next stage, that is Visaya Sangara and Niyamakshama. Niyamakshama means unable to keep the vows properly. I will get up early in the morning, but someday you get up, someday you don't get up. And I will not now follow the four, I will not now think about material attachments and this and that, but sometimes your mind keeps on, lacking. So these are the next two higher stages. So we will discuss next class. So in that way, though though one may be in one has crossed the Vyudha Vikalpa, there are no doubts, still the battle remains within. Vyudha Vikalpa is battle without, and Visaya Sangara is battle within. Now he is battle inside, right? This is the one answer. But another answer is one may have crossed even Visaya Sangara and these stages and gone to a stage of Nishtha. But even in Nishtha stage, there will be some lingering Vyudha, doubts. There will be some lingering of Visaya Sangara. Still previously he was attached to all types of sense objects. Sense objects are of varieties. There are 5 senses and there are 5 sense objects. Sabda, Sparsa, Gandha, Rupa. So there are 5 sense objects. So previously he was attached to all 5 sense objects. But now still all attachments have gone, but still little bit, that Prabhuji, everything is gone, but that I'm not able to give up. So he has come to the level of Nishtha. He is not in Visaya Sangara stage. He is not having a war now. War is over. But small battles are happening some days in a month or some days in a year. So he is in a Nishtha stage. But even in the higher stages of Nishtha, even in the stage of Ruchi, and even in the stage of Bhava, one may still have some lingering Vishaya Asakti. Right? Even in the stage of Ruchi also, there will be some Vishaya Asakti also. There can be Vishaya Asakti. So these stages do not get completely over for us to cross over to the next stage. These stages beyond Vyudha Vikalpa, thoda baki rehta hai. Vyudha Vikalpa is a deciding phase. Post Vyudha Vikalpa, as soon as a person has intellectually got convinced, taken shelter of a guru, and is convinced he is my captain of my life, I have to confide everything to him and go ahead. Beyond that, other stages will start coming up very fast, but these stages will also go slowly. Now he will experience Ruchi. Why he is experiencing Ruchi? Because of his surrender to a person who is having Ruchi. So one may say, अरे मैं रुचि तक इतना जल्दी पहुंच गया, ये सब stages इतना जल्दी, but still I am having ruchi, I am having so much of ruchi for Hare Krishna. How can I have also ruchi for some sense gratification? I am having ruchi for Krishna and I am having ruchi for ruchi girl also. How this is possible? How both are becoming ruchi to me? So why? Because this ruchi has come because of his surrender to Guru. So once he surrenders to Guru, then his progress becomes a little faster, but then his sensory attachment also takes some time gradually to go away. Right? So these stages will be there even in the stage of Ruchi, Asakti, these stages in minute form. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, in the next chapter, that which things, which negativities take what amount of time to go away. That also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. When your fully sense object attachment will go away, which stage? That he says. Which stage aparad will go away? Everything is very scientifically told. So you have to just wait and not watch here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question? Yes, Ankit Prabhu. Ankit Prabhu is the earliest person who attends the class.
Because I'm in delayed times. I'm a backlogger. So, thank you so much really for such a wonderful class, such a wonderful explanation. Now, what I understood from today's class is in each stage when we have to cross over, there's a very important role of sadhu sangha. In the Utsamai, one doesn't want to be tamed by a spiritual master. So that's why he's not able to advance. Again in Gandharala, if there is a regular association, regular hearing from devotees, then the material, the attachments, they all go away. And then again, the beautiful kalpa, the main thing is the surrendering to Guru. So what I understood is the sadhu sangha is a very important engine. If one just very strongly follows the sadhu sangha, stays in sadhu sangha, that means he will this anesthetic 3 stages means he will easily cross over. That's what I understood. And also in this Utsamai, sometimes a person is very ignorant, okay, very enthusiastic, okay, very nice, bahut acha lag raha, so I'll take shelter, I'll take initiation of Guru also. Sometimes if a person is not really mature, he's just in a Utsamai stage, so out of just of that thoda sa bhi wo excitement, he may also go to the step of taking externally initiation from the spiritual master, but from internally he may still be, we are very means not continuous. And also Prabhu, in this Utsamaya stage, a person may hear, okay, it's very nice to preach about Krishna consciousness. So he borrows a few things from devotee, and he also does a preaching, maybe not with the intention of out of compassion, but just out of showing off. So means these things happen. So does such a person he really advances in Krishna consciousness, means preaching, we say, is very important activity. Does he get that kind of credit? And if he's taking because it is very mixed, confused stage, it seems. So what happens in such situation?
Yeah. So the definition of initiation in ISKCON and the definition of initiation in previous times were different. Because in previous times, we rarely used to find anyone who used to break 4 regulative principles. So as soon as a person would join, the first thing would be to get him initiated. And now also there are many spiritual organizations who follow this. As soon as they enter the spiritual organization, the first thing they do is get him initiated. This is nothing wrong. This is a Vedic style of working. Initiation means Diksha. The first step, you get initiated so that you start your Siksha. The beginning of Siksha is Diksha. And many of the spiritual organizations, without understanding that the time has changed, they still follow the Vedic style of procedure and protocol of working, that Diksha hona chahiye. And that's why many people, when we tell them to chant Hare Krishna, they say, Diksha hoine, now my Diksha has not happened, how will I chant Hare Krishna, how will I take the mantra? And what they are telling is right. In Vedic times, first Diksha and then Siksha. But in Vedic times, we have to also understand that no one was breaking 4 regulative principles. Breaking 4 regulative principle is animalistic life, and in animalistic life, there is no question of Diksha or Siksha. And that is why Srila Prabhupada, or post that, prior to that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they saw that they have to make a basic prerequisite for initiation, because people are falling in the standards even in that basic prerequisite. And the basic prerequisite became as the following of 4 regulative principle and chanting some fixed number of rounds. That is, maybe Srila Prabhupada kept it 16 rounds, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had varieties of commitment. He had 4-rounder initiation, he had 8-rounder initiation, he had 16-rounder initiation, he had 32-rounder initiation, he had 64-rounder initiation. He had a broad spectrum of Harinam commitments, but there is no question of breaking 4 regulative principles. Breaking 4 regulative principles. But Srila Prabhupada, he thought that if I make it so broad, then people all will chant 4-rounder only. I will not get anyone for further ahead, because they were telling Prabhupada less number of rounds. Prabhupada said no, 16 and basic minimum. There is no question of initiation if you are chanting less than 16 rounds. So, but his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had initiations of different level, but he would not give second initiation to anyone who is chanting less than 16 rounds. Second initiation was the main initiation during Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, and 16-rounder is a minimum, 16, 32, and for sannyasis they have to chant 64 rounds, for brahmacharis 32 rounds, and for second initiated grihasthas 16 rounds, and 8 rounds and 4 rounds are for people who are Harinam initiated and following the 4 regulative principles. But since these standards have gone down, people have gone down basic to of human level and gone to the animalistic level of breaking 4 regulative principles. So initiation happens after a considerable period of time to help people to follow the basic human standards of civilized standards of life. But Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he talks about Bhajana Kriya, when he tells, like I told you, Bhajana Kriya based on ISKCON's aspects and 21st century Bhajana Kriya. But when Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he writes about Bhajana Kriya, Utsahamai stage, he considers that a person is initiated. If you see Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries and all those things, his Utsahamai stage, he is initiated. There is no question of not initiation. After initiation, he enters Utsahamai, or as soon as a person is entering Sadhu Sangha, the first thing is initiation. So that is not happening in ISKCON. As soon as you stumble down to ISKCON temple, you don't get initiated. But still, there are people who get initiated on an artificial level to get an affiliation with ISKCON, to get an affiliation or get some things out of ISKCON, and later on they may again break the principles. That happens. So many people get initiated, start following the principles for 1, 2, 3 years, again start smoking, drinking, eating non-veg. So that happens. So that is why it all depends on the maturity of the person who is guiding them. If the person who is guiding them is not mature, he will follow, Vedas say that first is initiation only. Vedas say first is initiation for whom? Why Vedas were telling that Sudras cannot get initiated? This is the reason. Kalau Sudra Sambhava. The higher classes of people, you would never break 4 regulative principles. And that is why Vedas say that initiation is for higher class of people. And taking this quotation from Vedic scriptures, they say, see how the lower caste of people, there was casteism in India previous time, and the lower caste of people were, unko exploit kiya jata tha, and the higher caste of people were given spiritual education. No, nothing like that. Anyone who follows 4 regulative principle was given initiation. And Sudras are people who used to not follow. So not given initiation. Now also we in ISKCON we follow the same thing. Those who do not follow the 4 regulative principle, they are Sudras. They are simply called as Sudras. The higher class of people would follow the four regulative principle, and that's why initiation was restricted to higher class of people. Meaning of initiation getting restricted to higher class of people means initiation was restricted only to those who were following the four regulative principles. But since Kalau Sudra Sambhava, first we have to make them some class. They are no class now. They are not even fourth class. Fifth class, sixth class, eighth class, eating beef is like 10th class. So first they have to come to some class, then only they can enter the real class, that is spiritual class. That is why there is a cultural difference between what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and these explanations. Actually, if you read Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I compared it with four regulative principles, Vyuda Vikalpa. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur doesn't compare Vyuda Vikalpa with four regulative principles. If you read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he compares Vyuda Vikalpa of renouncing family life. Renouncing family life, he is not able to renounce non-veg, what he will renounce family life, you know. Vyuda Vikalpa, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, shall I renounce my wife like Bharat Maharaj and go to forest, or shall I stay and practice devotional service? These are the doubts during those time in Vyuda Vikalpa. But now the stage of Vyuda Vikalpa is changed. What are the doubts? Shall I give up non-veg or not give up non-veg? So things have changed over the years, because culturally we have become like Sudras. When spiritual education is taught to Sudras, then the details little bit vary. It has to be vary, and that is how the process of initiation, how we do it, it is meant for Kali Yuga. In previous time, it was to never happen like this. Diksha Guru, who was Diksha Guru? Now in ISKCON, Diksha Guru has become very prominent and important person. The reason is, he is actually not a Diksha Guru. He is actually a Siksha Guru. He is a Paramhamsa Guru. But in previous time, Diksha Guru has no value. घुसा कोई भी आश्रम में दीक्षा तो ऐसे ही मिल जाता था, right? So Diksha Guru was never a very prominent feature in previous times. But in ISKCON, the Diksha Guru is not like that. In ISKCON, the Diksha Guru is a prominent Siksha Guru. Your prominent Siksha Guru, generally you feel inspired to take Diksha. But previous time, Diksha was not like that. Diksha was the beginning only. So because of the culturally how Kali Yuga has progressed, there is a difference in attitude towards initiation also. The Diksha Guru that is mentioned in Vedic times and Diksha Guru that is in ISKCON or Siksha Guru in ISKCON is completely different. In Vedic times, you stumble into any Gurukul or ashram, you begin your education, he is your Diksha Guru. He is a Guru, he is a really important person in your life. But later on, the person would meet some other advanced soul who would give him Siksha, and they will become the most prominent Siksha Guru in their life. Right? Like for Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is his Diksha Guru? His Diksha Guru is not Gaur Kishore, his Diksha Guru is not Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. His Diksha Guru is some Guru who gave him Diksha. I think Bipin Bihari or some I don't remember his name. But Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, we have our parampara, is his Siksha Guru. Similarly, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj did not take initiation from Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is not the Diksha Guru of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Because the culture was, in those times, person is born and at the time of Janayu and for higher class, Diksha Guru he gets by default. Then Siksha Guru he has to choose. He has to find out someone who can give me Divya Siksha. Diksha Guru used to happen like that only. So the parampara that we have mostly is a Siksha parampara of Divya Siksha that is coming down from Krishna. But certain Siksha Gurus can also be your Diksha Guru. So there are little bit of cultural differences of how initiation is currently happening and how initiations used to happen previously. Right? But because people sometimes from outside world come with the notion of previous time, so they are too much enthusiastic about initiation. And that is nothing wrong. But they don't understand culturally things have changed. And if I take prematurely initiation, I have to face lot of battle. Previous time there was no question of any sensory allurements in the public. Like for example, Ajamila saw one person, one Sudra and Sudrani, that too in the forest. Now you come out of the street, you see all Sudras and Sudranis only. So culturally things have gone much degraded. So that is why we have to do certain amendments to the process of initiation. Otherwise people will take initiation, they will not be able to follow the principles because of so much of allurements from material energy, bombardments from material energy from different sides, if they don't develop that conviction. Is clear? I explained you all the entire how initiation used to happen and everything. So, and because people come with that knowledge from prior knowledge of Vedic times, that is why they are enthusiastic sometimes of initiation. It may not be only because of they want to get affiliated to ISKCON, they will get a position in ISKCON, their name will have His grace. It may not be always like that. Maybe because they have seen in Vedic times initiation pehle, and here in ISKCON something new is coming. You stay for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, then you are getting initiation. What is this? Without initiation, how will I do bhajan kriya? But they take premature initiation and then they land up into problem. They only land up into problem.
Thank you, bro.
Okay.
Also, bro, just a little one thing that you said about Ghanatarana. So there is like our discontinued devotion to it. So is it also because of our sinful past that we have difficulty in continuing our devotion services?
Yeah, definitely, because of our conditionings and all. There is why our mind is disturbed, because of our vasanas in the mind. Ghana, Tarala and Utsamai is a mental stage of practice of Krishna consciousness. And why mental stage is important? Ruchi is a mental stage. After Nishtha, we'll talk about Ruchi. You will see here it is a mental stage only. And Ghana Tarala is a mental stage. What is the difference? At the stage of Ruchi, it's a purified mental stage. At the stage of Asakti is a purified mental stage. In Asakti, one object only, Syam Sundar Krishna, not even Dwaraka Krishna. This is Asakti stage. ये तो पूरा mental है. अरे श्याम सुंदर, intellectually अगर देखा जाए, what is the difference between श्याम सुंदर and Dwaraka Krishna? Both are Krishna only. ना आमार इष्ट देव, जैसे मीराबाई says ना, मेरे तो गिरिधर गोपाल दूसरो ना कोई. And after that she says, जाके सर में मोर मुकुट मेरे पति वही. जिसके सर में मोर मुकुट है और वो वृंदावन वाला श्याम सुंदर ही मेरे पति है. नॉट दैट द्वारका का श्याम कृष्ण मेरे पति नहीं है, वो वृंदावन वाला जो गोपियों के साथ रास करता है, ही. सो दिस इज आसक्ति स्टेज. I'm not telling Mirabai is much ahead stage. I'm not defining Mirabai as Asakti stage. She is in a Bhav Prem stage, whatever stage. She only knows. I'm no one to judge her. But Asakti means Ishtadev is fixed. And Ishtadev is based on mind only, na? One may say, अरे, what is the difference between Syam Sundar Krishna? No, उसका मन करता है श्याम सुंदर का भजन करना. उसको रामचंद्र अच्छा नहीं लगता है, श्याम सुंदर ही अच्छा लगता है. उसका मन श्याम सुंदर में भाग गया. अब भाग गया तो भाग गया. But this is also a mental stage. Ruchi and Asakti is also a mental stage. And here on the ground level, this Ghana Tarala and Utsama is also mental stage. But this is impure mental stage, this is pure mental stage. So we will discuss about this as we go ahead. Hare Krishna. Sorry for being so technical. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. It's a very technical subject matter. Many of the subject matters I'm not getting into it. I don't know whether you'll understand all those things. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu has some comments.
Guruji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, this I'm not able to understand, because as you were telling previous times, people were automatically following four regulative principles, higher class.
Yeah.
So every time we see Kshatriyas were allowed to have even non-vegetarian or alcohol or gambling. So this confusion comes then, how they were considered, like they were pure devotees, or they were is it only Brahmanas would get initiation that time, or Kshatriyas were they would not, but they were also getting Yajnopavit and all. But initiation, when we say that everybody was following four regulative principles, so how to understand that they were given allowance for
Perfect. Perfect. So there were two types of initiation. One is Paramarthik initiation, one is Varnashram initiation. So, and both the initiations will have some standards. So, Paramarthik initiation is what we are talking about, spiritual goal. But even to start material education, they would require Yajnopavita, because even material education had some prerequisite of character involved. Like Kshatriyas, even if they were given license according to Varnashram initiation, Kshatriyas were given license, they have to follow those license and codes of conduct. Of they can only eat meat in this way, they can only eat meat, this kind of meat, they can only, otherwise they'll become lechas. So, but that initiation that they used to get, they were getting initiated into the Varnashram dharma. But what we are talking about, strictly following the four regulative principle without onion garlic, this is Paramarthik Diksha, going back to Godhead. So Varnashram Diksha had these type of exceptions, license and all those involved, and they had to follow that rules and codes of conduct. Just like our Paramarthik Diksha is full abstinence, no question. But Varnashram Diksha, for a Brahmana, no question. For a Kshatriya, this much. For a Vaishya, this much. This is Varnashram Diksha. But then, Varnashram Diksha also had that for a Kshatriya, he can take this, but then he has to behave like a Kshatriya. He cannot be sitting on a closed room and putting a missile on civilians, and he is not a Kshatriya. He has to go on the battlefield and he has to see his head being cut off. So those Kshatriya means on the war field. Now who is a Kshatriya now in Kali Yuga? Tell me. No one is a Kshatriya. Everyone is just sitting in a closed room and going in an aeroplane, putting a bomb on the civilian and going back and again coming back. Okay, war is over. We have killed certain civilians. This is not a war. This is not a Kshatriya. This is not a king. King is just directing. Oh, the military, go. Are king was a military person. He was, the Brahmana cannot become a king, Vaishya cannot become a king. The first qualification is he has to know martial warfare. He has to know martial warfare. He has to stand in front of the kingdom when a kingdom is attacked. That is a king. Now king is some uneducated fellow who doesn't know anything and who is like a Sudra, only drinking, boozing around and doing all nonsense with the woman, and he is a king, declared as a king. He's not a king. So even Varnashram dharma has some dharma. It's a dharma. And dharma means diksha. So what you are talking about, Kshatriyas doing gambling and all those things, they used to follow the Varnashram codes of conduct, which gives license to Kshatriya. And the diksha they used to take was Varnashram diksha. The upavit they used to take is the Varnashram diksha. For Brahmana, the time duration was different. For Kshatriya was time different, and all those things that part. But what we get upavit and what we get diksha is Paramarthik diksha. This is Paramarthik diksha. This is not Varnashram diksha. So that is why four regulative principle is a minimum qualification. So on a generic side, we agree that everyone followed four regulative principles. The Brahmanas, the Vaishyas. You will see the Vaishya class, the Marwadis, they follow this very strictly. But the Punjabis and the Kshatriya class, they don't follow that much. Why? Because they were given license. Now their license has become a lifestyle. Like you will see the Rajputs, the Kshatriya families, They were given certain license during these times you can do, because they need passion to kill someone. That they used to get through alcohol, through intoxication. But you will see the Marwadis families, they were not given license, so now also their lifestyle is now the same, correct? So, and the Brahmana families, the lifestyle is still the same. There is no question of breaking four regulative principles. In Vaishya family, there is lifestyle same. Now Vaishyas, Brahmanas, everyone is breaking four regulative. But if you see the generic, everyone in a Marwadi family knows कि perfect Marwadi Vaishya मतलब onion garlic भी नहीं. That means four regulative principle was common. Everyone is Brahmana means no question of onion garlic. I have seen in Puri and all Brahmana, अरे Brahman onion garlic सब खाता है, सब कुछ खाता है, क्या Brahman है? Everyone knows. But Kshatriya, Rajputs family, Maratha, all these Kshatriyas, they were given license. And that is the problem of the Vedas. That's how Narad Muni chastised Vyasdev. That array, you are giving license, license will become lifestyle. And that's how we see the Rajputs, the Punjabi families who were Kshatriya class in India. Now they have made their non-veg breaking four regulative principles a lifestyle only. Because they were given license so that they can fight. Now it has become lifestyle. But lifestyle was four regulative principles. Only Kshatriyas in very limited quantities they were allowed so that they can fight. Is this clear? Hare Krishna, yes. My goodness, we are already 8:40. Ritu Mataji, last question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, my question is this: कि जैसे आपका this question आप answer दे रहे थे अंकित प्रभु को, by that कि so शिक्षा गुरु is more important than दीक्षा गुरु.
Oh, no, don't take it as.
अभी भी ऐसा है, like दीक्षा गुरु हम लोग दीक्षा ले लेते हैं, but we are not that much connected, और maybe हम उतना उनसे बात नहीं कर पाते हैं. But जैसे अभी आपने कहा कि जैसे प्रभु जी पूछ रहे थे कि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है, मैंने भी देखा है कि ऐसा फैमिली जो बहुत ही अच्छी डिवोटी थी, जो इनिशिएटेड है, हस्बैंड वाइफ बहुत पर इनिशिएटेड, एंड वो उनके घर में डीटीज भी मतलब वो बहुत अच्छे से फॉलो करते थे, बट अभी उन्होंने कंठी माला रिमूव कर दिया, मतलब अभी वो फॉलो नहीं करते, बिल्कुल फॉलो नहीं करते हैं. तो मीन्स उनके शिक्षा गुरु के साथ उनका, जैसे आपने बताया कि जब ये छोड़ देते हैं ऐसे, तो मे बी उनके शिक्षा गुरु उतने मैच्योर नहीं है, राइट? जो उनको पाथ गाइड कर रहे हैं, दैट पर्सन उतना मैच्योर नहीं है. तो मीन्स दैट कि शिक्षा गुरु इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन दीक्षा गुरु, बिकॉज शिक्षा गुरु से हम कनेक्ट रहते हैं, वो हमें पाथ शो कर रहे हैं, उनसे हम बात कर सकते हैं. और शिक्षा गुरु जस्ट जो हमें सिर्फ दीक्षा दे रहे हैं, और मतलब my question is this.
Yeah, so I understood. So we need to have one primary guru in our life with whom we are able to closely interact at all stages of our bhakti. That is required. That primary guru can be a Diksha guru, that primary guru can be a Siksha guru, not Pathapradakshak guru, because he is not considered to be an advanced devotee. Sometimes a Pathapradakshak guru can be also a very advanced soul. He can be also our primary guru. So, but we need to have a primary guru in our life with whom we are able to interact, and at different stages of our life we would require different levels of consultation and guidance, right? When we begin our devotional service, we need guidance how to follow the four regulative principles. But after some time we have started following it, we don't require guidance now to how to follow the four regulative principles, but we definitely require guidance how to chant very nicely. We require guidance how to read nicely. In previous times we have doubts whether to pursue this material career or not, but later on we have doubt that how to develop more attachment to Krishna. So in every phase of our spiritual life we would require a primary guru. That primary guru functionally can be a Diksha guru, functionally can be a Siksha guru. But as soon as one doesn't understand the need of a primary guru throughout one's journey in spiritual life, he lands up in the problem. And this problem has become more prominent in Kali Yuga because culturally Kali Yuga has become very degraded. There are a lot of bombardments from material energy. Previous time, even if the interactions with the guru was less, the bombardments from material energy was also less. You are sitting in a forest, in a hut. What you can do, tell me, in a hut, in a forest, if you are sitting, what you will fall down? Now the amenities, avenues available for falling prey to Maya is much more, and that is why the requirement of being connected to Guru has also become more prominent. In previous time, there was how much Guru will come and meet, give diksha, give some siksha and go back. And the person would be sitting in the forest and doing his bhajan. And if we compare that, oh, just see, Vyasdev, Narad Muni, only one discussion happened. So we should have also one discussion with our Guru and finished. Go up. But where Vyasdev was staying, you go and stay there, you will also require only one discussion. Vyasdev was not staying in New York. Vyasdev was not staying in Las Vegas. Vyasdev was staying in near the bank of Saraswati in a cottage. Bharat Maharaj was staying like that. Still he fell down because of lack of association of Guru. Even there also there is risk, but how many instances we have of that risk? Only one. That is Bharat Maharaj. And also Saubhari Muni. But Saubhari Muni's case is a different case. Saubhari Muni offended Garuda. That's why he fell down. But as far as material attachment, falling down in a forest is only one, that is Bharat Maharaj. But that also our Acharya says that Bharat Maharaj fell down because of a circumstantial situation, and Krishna wanted to accelerate his devotional service. So even that fall down is also not considered fall down. But those who were kings like Yudhishthir and all, they knew that because I am dealing so much with material energy, I need to associate with gurus and sadhus more often. That's why you will see Yudhishthir and Narad Muni's discussion are too much. But Vyasdev and Narad Muni's discussions are less. Because they are with the material energy. And when someone is with the material energy, they require more spiritual association so that they don't get affected by material energy. And in Kali Yuga, situations have become more degraded. The material energy has become very prominent. And that is why the need for our spiritual connection with Guru has to be very, very grossly prominent. Material energy has become gross. That is why this also has to become very gross. Then only we'll be able to survive the effects of material energy. If we compare culturally to a different stage, different time frame during Vedic times, we will not be able to understand. In Vedic times, there was no question of interacting. There was no question of monthly meeting with Narad Muni. Mrigari, what monthly meeting Narad Muni did with Mrigari? It's just one time, one life meeting. That's it. And second time he came just to sow. He brought Parvat Muni just to show, dekho, mere udu ke ja rahe the, they were going and oh, one of my disciples stays here, let's go down. And the disciple was not doing PUBG. He was not playing PUBG when Narad Muni came down with Parvat Muni. Oh, and then Narad Muni is thinking, अरे इसको मैं initiation देके गया है, PUBG खेल रहा है, अरे गलती हो गया. Because there is no question of PUBG only. So the avenues of material energy and affecting us were much less. So there was interactions were also much less. But where the gurus used to understand that the avenues of material getting affected by material energy was more, they were giving more time to them. Narad Muni used to give more time to the kings. Why? Because he understood that the kings are dealing with the material energy, then he would require more time. Narad Muni used to give less time to people who are forest dwellers. Because there was less material energy, they were less prone to getting affected by material energy. So that is why we have to understand where we are staying, who we are, and how much we need interactions. Right now we are sitting in the heart of the city, so we have to require more association. This is first part of the question. And second is about initiation, why people give up and all those things, because they don't have Siksha Guru or the Siksha Guru is not mature. Now the second is about specifically to ISKCON. Now over the years, what has happened in ISKCON is that the Siksha Gurus, they primarily functioned as a service authority, as a temple in charge or a project in charge, department in charge, and their another thing was also giving Siksha. But their primary role in ISKCON was a service in charge, service authority, giving some services to devotees and connecting them to Diksha Guru. So the people who were under them, they understood that Diksha Guru is my real Guru. He is my service authority, giving me service and engaging me in devotional service. They never saw him as their Siksha Guru. And because of which, that the Siksha Guru primarily thought that I am temple president, who becomes a Siksha Guru? Mostly he is the prominent devotee in a project. So he identified himself as a manager or a temple president or a congregation leader and all those things. And the person also saw him as a leader, as a project manager or a guide, or something who is an important holding a official position in ISKCON. And I have to do, because I am in ISKCON, I have to do the service through this person, then it will reach to Krishna. He never saw him as a spiritual guide. And the person who is also the project manager, his project and his management, his services are so overwhelming that he thought, let me connect him to this Diksha Guru. He will take initiation and he has got his Guru. I have done my service to the Diksha Gurus or GVCs. Job is over. But job is not so simple. The problem is, what happens is the person never saw this person or the intermediate person as Guru. Neither the intermediate person saw him as his disciple, because he is the disciple of this person. But that person has so many overwhelming number of disciples, he is not able to give time to this person. And then this person ultimately is not able to practice Krishna consciousness going ahead. So it's not the fault of anyone, but somehow or other, it's the system that happened in such a way. It's not the fault of the manager, because manager is just doing it on behalf of the Guru. He never gave Diksha. It's not the fault of the person, because the person saw him as a manager. He is a manager. His prominent role was a manager of the project. And he was also giving Siksha. You understand? His prominent role as a manager, he was also giving Siksha. So problem was not of the person, not of the person who is taking Siksha. Not with the Diksha Guru also. What? He is a poor fellow. He is being asked to give Diksha. He has to give Diksha officially from ISKCON. So no one is at fault. But the system is somehow the things are at fault, because there is no proper definition of a Siksha Guru in ISKCON right now. Anyone who brings someone to Krishna consciousness becomes a Siksha Guru by default. This is not the case. It's not necessary that someone who brought us to Krishna consciousness will be our Siksha Guru. We need to just like choose our Diksha Guru, we need to choose our Siksha Guru as well. We need to be inspired. But in ISKCON, what happens is, I preach in some place and some person is not inspired and he is inspired by someone else, then he should take Siksha from him or her. So Siksha can only be taken based on inspiration. So just like we choose Diksha Guru, we need to choose a Siksha Guru. Then only it will happen. But if we just by an official goal process, because I am connected, I have to be connected with this. Then he is an official, not even a Siksha Guru. Because Siksha Guru is not a self-declaration. Guru is a position that the disciple gives to a person. Oh, you become my guru and guide me. Like Arjuna made Krishna guru. Krishna didn't make himself as a guru of Arjuna. So the problem lies in ISKCON is there is no definition of a Siksha Guru, clear-cut definition, and just like a person chooses a Diksha Guru, the person has, if a person is not inspired, right? If a person, someone brings us to Krishna consciousness and we are inspired by him to continue, then very well, he is our Siksha Guru. But sometimes a person is not able to get inspiration. Then he has to find out some Siksha Guru and tell that, I am feeling inspired by you, become my Siksha Guru. Then only it will happen. Otherwise, it will not happen. Right? If we just out of the project pressure, official pressure, oh, he is my Siksha Guru, but there is no inspiration, then he is not your Siksha Guru. He is just your authority. Authority is not Guru. So that's the typical problem that happens in ISKCON, where no one is at fault, but somehow because of the situations it has become like this. So that is why for us, what we need to do is that we need to choose our Guru based on inspiration and clear-cut conviction that I am going to not leave him till the last breath of my life. That is why you take your own time. No problem. But if you are not convinced that I am not going to leave him till the last breath of my life, then he is not your Guru. Guru is not just a temporary person in someone's life. He is the prominent and permanent person in the spiritual journey of a person. He is the most prominent person in the spiritual journey of a person. He is the permanent person, not that Guru says some chastisement, I leave the Guru, I find out some another Guru. Then your spiritual journey will be stagnated. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, I think Ankit Prabhu's question will take next class. Ankit Prabhu will send the question as a message and we will take it in next class. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.